Hare Krishna. Thanks to His Grace Madhav Govind Prabhuji for starting the reading today. It was wonderful. We were doing some services and we were listening his reading as well. 412. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading from Sri Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, which is adopted by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. We are in the Yuddha Kanda. Page number 412, if you're following from the books, second paragraph. They found Jambavan severely wounded and unable to see. Jambavan inquired, "Is Hanuman still living?" Vibhishan asked him, "Why have you inquired about Hanuman and not about Rama, Lakshmana, Sugriva and Angada?" Jambavan replied, "If Hanuman is living, then the army is still intact, even if it is apparently massacred. But if Hanuman is dead, then the entire army is destroyed, even if the soldiers are apparently alive." Hearing this, Hanuman came forward. Clasping Jambavan's feet, he said, "Rest assured that I am well." Jambavan instructed him, "Go quickly to the Himalayas and locate the Rishabha mountain. Between Rishabha and Kailash is an effulgent mountain covered with powerful medicinal herbs that illuminate all directions. You must gather 4 of these herbs and bring them back here. These herbs are Mrita Sanjivani, which can restore even a dead man back to life. Bishalya Karani, used for extracting weapons and healing wounds. Subarna Karani, which restores the body's original luster. And Sandhani, which is used for healing fractured bones and joining severed limbs. If you can procure these herbs, then all the monkey heroes who have lost their lives can be revived." Hanuman became enlivened and swelled up with renewed energy. After going to the Trikuta mountain, Hanuman squatted down in preparation for a tremendous leap. The mountain peak crumbled from his pressure, and trees burst into flames from the friction he generated. Likewise, Lanka's palaces and city gates began to collapse, and the entire city trembled, striking all the citizens with fear. Hanuman first jumped to the Malaya mountains on the opposite side of the sea. Further expanding himself, Hanuman bowed to the sun god, then again leapt into the air, drawing up huge rocks and trees in his wake. While soaring through the air at the speed of wind, Hanuman soon sighted the Himalayan mountains with their golden peaks. After sighting Mount Rishabha and Mount Kailash, Hanuman located the mountain situated between them that Jambavan had described and was astonished to see its blazing effulgence. Hanuman searched frantically all over the mountain for the required herbs. However, the creepers had hidden themselves upon sensing the arrival of an intruder, so Hanuman could not locate them. Hanuman roared ferociously and challenged, "O mountain, if you try to impede the service of Lord Ram, I shall smash you into millions of tiny pieces." Receiving no response, Hanuman decided that if he could not find the herbs, he had better bring the mountain and let Jambavan find them for himself. Breaking off the top of the mountain, Hanuman sprang into the air and quickly flew the 1,000 yojanas to Lanka. As he landed on the peak of Trikuta mountain, all the monkeys shouted with joy. Jambavan quickly gathered the record herbs and placed them below the nostrils of Rama and Lakshmana for them to inhale, upon which their wounds were immediately healed. The herbs were then administered to the wounded monkeys, who all sprang to their feet as though rousing from a sound sleep. Even the monkeys that were previously killed were instantly revived by the herbs. Hanuman then quickly returned to the Himalayas and put the mountain peak back in its place. Hanuman had completed the entire mission in just one day, and when he returned to Lanka, night had already fallen. Sugriva told him, "My dear Hanuman," we are reading from page number 414. "My dear Hanuman, since all the dead Rakshasas have been thrown into the ocean on Ravana's order, we cannot estimate how many of them have been killed. Nevertheless, of all Ravana's sons, only Indrajit still survives. Thus, Lanka is now defenseless. I suggest we take up torches and invade the city at night to throw the enemy into confusion." The monkeys soon began their march to Lanka. When they approached the city gates, the Rakshasa guards fled in fear. The monkeys were able to enter without a fight. With torches in hand, the monkey soldiers ran through the streets of Lanka, setting all the palaces, gates, and walls ablaze. As the fire raged on all sides, thousands of burning buildings toppled to the ground. The whole of Lanka was in pandemonium. Burnt Rakshasas and animals ran wildly in all directions, wailing in anguish. Ram and Lakshman took up their bows. Then Rama twanged his bowstring. The sound was heard above the clamor, striking terror into the hearts of the Rakshasas. Ram then destroyed Lanka's principal gate with a barrage of arrows. When Ravan saw the destruction, he became mad with rage. The Rakshasa king dispatched Kumbha and Nikumbha, the son of Kumbhakarna, along with many other Rakshasa heroes, including Yupaksha, Sonitaksha, Prajangha, and Kampana. Both the monkey and Rakshasa armies were eager for combat. Thus, when the battle ensued outside the gates of Lanka, the fighting was especially fierce. Amidst the slaughter of warriors on both sides, Angada suddenly rushed at Kampan. But when the Rakshasa struck him with his mace, Angada fell backwards, bereft of consciousness. The prince quickly recovered, and after picking up a huge mountain peak, he hurled it at Kampan, smashing him to death. The enraged Shanitaksha then rushed at Angad on his chariot and riddled him with arrows. But without faltering, Angada smashed the Rakshasa's chariot and bow with his bare hands. Sanitaksha was forced to jump down from his disabled carrier and take up his sword and shield. Angada quickly went and captured Shanitaksha, and after snatching the sword from his hand, slashed him with it. As Sanitaksha fell wounded, Angada rushed off to fight with the other Rakshasa chiefs. Yupaksha and Prajangha came to intercept Angada, while Shanitaksha got up and followed him from behind. Mainda and Divida then rushed to Angada's aid, and the three monkeys locked in a fierce battle with the Rakshasa heroes. As the monkeys bombarded the Rakshasas with trees and mountain peaks, the Rakshasas tore them to pieces with their weapons. Prajanga rushed at Angada, wielding a sword, but the son of Bali struck him down with a tree before he could attack. As Prajanga tried to stand up, Angada punched him, knocking him to the ground unconscious. Seeing this, Sanitaksha rushed forward and suddenly brought down his first upon Angada's forehead. Although he was momentarily dazed, Angada quickly recovered, so that when Prajangar crushed again with renewed vigor, the prince was able to decapitate him with a mere slap of his hand. After witnessing the death of his uncle on the battlefield, Upaksha got down from his chariot. Then with tear-filled eyes, he rushed impetuously at Drivida, sword in hand. Drivida caught hold of the onrushing Rakshasa and began pounding him repeatedly in the chest. Seeing his brother captured, Sanitaksha ran up to Drivida and violently struck him in the chest with his mace. Drivida reeled back in a daze, but as Sanitaksha lifted his mace to strike again, Drivida caught hold of the weapon and wrested it from the Rakshas's hand. Meanwhile, Mainda arrived on the scene and struck Upaksha in the chest with his hand. Soon Drivida and Mainda became locked in a wrestling match with Upaksha and Sanitaksha. Drivida tore at Sanitaksha's face with his sharp nails, and after dashing him to the ground, crushed the Rakshasa to death with his knees. Mainda then pressed Upaksha tightly in his arms, squeezing the life out of his body. After the death of these two heroes, the Rakshasa soldiers fearfully took shelter of Kumbha. The son of Kumbhakarna struck Drivida down with an arrow, making him writhe on the ground in pain. Mainda then hurled a huge rock while rushing at Kumbha, but the Rakshasa broke it into the pieces with 5 arrows. Then with another arrow, Kumbha struck Mainda in the chest, making him fall unconscious. Seeing his two uncles fall, severely wounded, Angada became enraged and madly rushed at Kumbha, seeking revenge. Although numerous arrows struck him as he advanced, Angada remained unshaken. He released a shower of rocks upon Kumbha's head. However, Kumbha shattered the rocks and pierced Angada's eyebrows with 2 arrows. Despite the flowing blood covering his vision, Angada managed to grab a huge tree and hurled it at Kumbha. As the Rakshasa cut it to pieces, Angada fainted to the ground, too afflicted from his numerous wounds. The monkeys then went to Ram and told him of Angada's plight. Ram dispatched Jambavan and other monkey leaders to go to Angada's aid. As the monkey warriors approached, however, Kumbha checked them with a shower of arrows. Sugriva then rushed at Kumbha, throwing numerous trees. The Rakshasa, however, cut all the trees apart and shot Sugriva with numerous arrows. Still, Sugriva remained undaunted, and he continued to advance with reach up Kumbha's chariot. Suddenly, Sugriva jumped up and snatched the bow from Kumbha's hands, breaking it in half. Then quickly jumping down from the chariot, Sugriva said, "O Kumbha, you have certainly exhibited great prowess on the battlefield today. Your father was naturally endowed with great power, whereas Ravana achieved superior prowess from the benedictions of Lord Brahma. You, however, are powerful in both ways. O Rakshasa, I would have killed you just now, but since you are exhausted after so much fighting, I request you to return to Lanka for rest. Thereafter, we can fight more under fairer conditions." Kumbha appreciated Sugriva's noble words, but without accepting the offer, suddenly grabbed the monkey king in his strong arms. As the two wrestled, the earth began sinking from the immense pressure upon it. Finally, Sugriva lifted Kumbha up and threw him into the ocean, causing waves as high as mountains to swell up in all directions. Kumbha, however, sprang back onto the land and rushed at Sugriva. then threw him to the ground and began beating him in the chest with his fists. Although his armor was smashed and blood gushed from his wounds, Sugriva clenched his powerful fist and pounded Kumbha's chest with all his might. The son of Kumbhakarna was crushed by Sugriva's blows, and he fell to the ground mortally wounded. Seeing his elder brother slain, Nikumbha began to roar so loudly and swing his club so wildly that all the monkeys and Rakshasas became paralyzed with fear. As Hanuman came before him, Nikumbha struck him in the chest with his terrible club. But when the club hit mighty Hanuman, it merely shattered into 100 pieces. Hanuman then smashed his clenched fist upon Nikumbha's chest, causing the Rakshasa to stagger backwards. Upon recovering himself, however, Nikumbha captured Hanuman in his arms and began to carry him away. Hanuman soon escaped Nikumbha's clutches and dashed his opponent to the ground. Hanuman then pounced upon his foe and began to crush him with his knees. At the same time, the heroic son of Bayu grasped Nikumbha by the neck and began twisting until he tore the Rakshas's head from his trunk. Upon witnessing this ghastly feat, the monkeys shouted with joy. Then Ravana received news of Nikumbha's death. He ordered the son of Khara named Maharaksha to fight with Ram and Lakshman. Maharaksha approached the battlefield boasting of his prowess, but inauspicious omens suggested his coming defeat. The whip slipped from his charioteer's hands, and his flagpole fell to the ground. His horses faltered with tears in their eyes, seeming depressed. Likewise, a severe dust storm suddenly manifested, bringing gloom and darkness. Maharaksha, however, ignored these omens and confidently approached the battlefield. When the fighting began, Maharaksha slayed many monkeys with his arrows. Then as the Rakshasas roared triumphantly and the monkeys fled for their lives, Ram took up his bow. Ram took up his bow and began sending down torrents of arrows upon the Rakshasas. The enraged Maharaksha then challenged Ram with harsh words. Ram, however, merely laughed, exclaiming, "O proud fool, there has never been a war that was won merely by words." Maharaksha then released a steady stream of arrows, but Ram blasted them all to pieces with his own. Then coming to close quarters, the two fought furiously. As demigods assembled overhead to witness the spectacular duel. Although Ram and Maharaksha deeply wounded each other, their strength seemed to only increase. Indeed, they shot so many arrows that the view of the battlefield was obscured. Then, flaring with rage, Ram split Maharaksha's bow in half, smashed his chariot to pieces, and killed his driver and horses. Jumping down from the broken chariot, Maharaksha took up a spear given to him by Rudra and pitched it at Ram. Ram, however, cut the spear to pieces with his arrows. Then as Ram fitted an Agni weapon to his bowstring, Maharaksha madly rushed toward him with an upraised fist. But before the Rakshasa could reach him, Ram fired a celestial arrow that entered Maharaksha's heart and killed him. When the Rakshasa army saw their leader slain, they fled back to Lanka. Therefore, Ravan ordered Indrajit to re-enter the battle. The prince again went to his sacrificial altar, pouring libations of ghee on the fire so as to increase his potency unlimitedly. Indrajit took another goat by the neck and threw it into the fire as an offering. As before, Agni personally came before him to accept the offering, and the fire blazed up brightly. Indrajit then mounted his chariot, protecting it and all his weapons with the potency of Lord Brahma. Shortly thereafter, Indrajit began showering his arrows upon Ram and Lakshman from his invisible position in the sky. The sons of Darsharath tried to counterattack Indrajit with celestial weapons, but none could touch the powerful son of Ravan. Then, using his mystic power, Indrajit made everything dark and assailed Ram and Lakshman with a barrage of arrows, severely wounding them. Firing toward the direction of the arrows that rained down, Ram struck Indrajit, but the Rakshasa hero appeared undaunted. Finally, Lakshman became frustrated by their seeming helplessness and declared, "I will now invoke the Brahmastra and thereby destroy all the Rakshasas once and for all." Rama replied, "My dear brother, while fighting with one enemy, it is not proper to kill others who are not taking part in the battle. I am also very eager to put an end to this powerful Rakshas, but have patience and let us discharge more of our celestial weapons at him." Indrajit could then understand that Ram intended to finish him off quickly, thus he retreated hastily for Lanka. Soon afterwards he set out again for the battlefield. However, this time he chose to remain visible, accompanied by an illusory Sita. Seeing Indrajit before them, all the monkeys, headed by Hanuman, rushed forward to attack. However, when they saw that Sita was also seated up on the chariot, they became extremely depressed. Then, while the monkeys looked on helplessly, Indrajit drew his sword and grabbed Sita by the hair. The illusory Sita cried out, "Ram! Ram!" And Indrajit punched her hair with his fist. Feeling unbearable agony, Hanuman shouted, "You are the most abominable of all Rakshasas. I promise that you will soon be punished in the hell reserved for the killers of women." Saying this, Hanuman rushed at Indrajit, followed by many monkeys. However, the Rakshasa repelled them with his arrows. Indrajit declared, "Watch me now as I kill Sita. A person who desires to win a war must be willing to give pain to the enemy." At that, Indrajit took his sword and violently slashed the illusory Sita's body diagonally, causing her to fall immediately to the ground in a pool of blood. Indrajit then taunted Hanuman, saying, "Sita is now dead, proving all your endeavors to rescue her a useless waste of energy." Indrajit then let out a loud roar, causing the monkeys to scatter. Hanuman chastised the fleeing monkeys for being cowards. Then the army rallied and Hanuman began to massacre Rakshasas with a vengeance. From a great distance, Hanuman hurled a huge rock at Indrajit's chariot. The Rakshasa quickly maneuvered to avoid the rock, and when it landed, it crushed many Rakshasa soldiers, split the ground, and entered the bowels of the earth. Hanuman continued to slaughter many Rakshasas, while Indrajit attempted to check him with a storm of arrows. After some time, Hanuman thought, "Since Sita has been killed, it would be best for the monkey army to retreat so that I can report to Ram and receive his instructions." When Hanuman and the monkeys left the battle scene, Indrajit went to the sanctuary named Nikumbila to make offerings into the sacrificial fire for the Rakshasas. From a distant place, Ram could see how the monkeys were fiercely fighting with Indrajit and sent Jambavan to aid them. Jambavan met Hanuman and the monkeys as they retreated. And Hanuman met Ram. he informed of how Sita had been mercilessly slain by Indrajit. Immediately Ram fell to the ground unconscious. The monkeys came quickly and sprinkled water to revive him. Lakshman picked up Ram in his arms and lamented, "Oh, what terrible misfortune! It appears that virtue and vice have changed roles. Perhaps virtue is simply not strong enough to give a good result without the assistance of sufficient prowess. Therefore, it is best to just depend on one's prowess and forget all so-called moral considerations. I hereby vow to destroy all of Lanka, including Indrajit and Ravan. My dear Ram, please remember your divine position as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu and thus give up your excessive sorrow." Vibhishan then came forward, having restored the monkey soldiers to confidence. Seeing the grief-stricken Lakshman with Ram unconscious on his lap, he asked, "What has happened?" As Lakshman began to explain Sita's death, Vibhishan interrupted, saying, "It is not possible that Sita has been killed by Indrajit, for Ravan would never voluntarily part with her. The Sita you saw being killed was certainly an illusory creation of the Rakshas's mystic power. O Lakshman, you should immediately go to Nikumbala and kill Indrajit while he is busy making sacrificial offerings. If you do not attack him now, Indrajit will once again make himself invisible and become unassailable." Rama was too overwhelmed by grief to clearly understand what Vibhishan had said. He asked him to repeat himself. Vibhishan then explained further. Long ago, Indrajit performed severe austerities to satisfy Lord Brahma. Although the grandsire awarded Indrajit the Brahmastra and flying horses, he also predicted, "You will be killed by an enemy while engaged in performing sacrifices at Nikumbila. Therefore, Lakshman must go at once to kill him. Otherwise, he will become so powerful that all the monkeys will surely be slain." Hearing this, Ram ordered, "Lakshman, take Hanuman and Vibhishan and the rest of the monkey army." Lakshman touched Ram's feet and vowing to kill Indrajit as he departed. When Lakshman approached Nikumbila, he saw innumerable Rakshasas guarding it. Vibhishan advised, "Let their army be attacked first. When the Rakshasas are hard pressed, Indrajit will appear." When the battle had begun, Indrajit saw how his army was being assailed and mounted his chariot, even though his sacrifices remained incomplete. Hanuman was slaying many Rakshasa soldiers, but when Indrajit appeared, they suddenly took heart and rushed at him. As Hanuman continued to massacre Rakshasas, Indrajit released a torrent of arrows on Hanuman and the monkey soldiers. Vibhishan then took Lakshmana to a place beneath a banyan tree where Indrajit offered oblations into the sacrificial fire before entering the battlefield. Vibhishan knew that Indrajit would soon come there to complete his rituals and urged Lakshmana to wait there and kill Indrajit when he returned. Lakshman took his stand, and before long Indrajit did return. As Lakshman challenged him to fight, Indrajit rebuked Vibhishan, saying, "Why does my own uncle come here to do me harm? I am the favorite son of your elder brother. Have you no feeling for your family members? You too are born in the Rakshasa dynasty. Have you no pride of your birth? Wicked fool, can't you see how you have betrayed your kinsmen? Is there no difference between living with one's own family and licking the feet of strangers? One's worst relative is always better than an outsider. Only you could act so treacherously." Vibhishan answered, "O nephew, if you are truly concerned with dharma, then why do you reproach me, your elder? It is true that I have been born in a family of Rakshasas, but my nature is quite different. I hate impudence and cruelty. It is your father, not I, who caused this breach in our family. It is your father, According to religious injunctions, it is one's duty to renounce all connections with sinful persons, even if they happen to be family relations. One who kidnaps another's wife is most abominable and should be cast off like a snake that clings to one's body. To mistrust friends, to have sexual relations with the wife of another, or to steal others' property always led to destruction. Ravan is doomed. Along with him, you and all of Lanka will be destroyed. O Indrajit, you are merely a proud, ill-mannered boy. Say whatever you like, but soon you will lay down your life, riddled by the arrows of Lakshman. Lakshman was mounted upon Hanuman, and after an exchange of challenges, Indrajit suddenly pierced him with 2 arrows. Lakshman responded by striking Indrajit in the chest with 5 arrows, and thus the fierce duel began. After some time, Indrajit became pale and weakened from the onslaught of Lakshmana's arrows. Vibhishan urged Lakshman to make short work of the Rakshasa. Lakshman released more of his powerful arrows, causing Indrajit to become temporarily dazed. However, he quickly recovered, saying, "Remember how I previously defeated you?" and pierced Lakshmana with 7 arrows, Hanuman with 10 and Vibhishan with 100. Lakshman, however, simply laughed, again covering Indrajit with arrows and shattering his golden armor to pieces. However, when Indrajit retaliated with 1,000 arrows, Lakshman's armor was also shattered. Thus, neither appeared to gain the upper hand. The fighting continued for a long time. Lakshman and Indrajit assaulted each other with arrows, both determined to gain victory. Innumerable arrows pierced through their bodies and entered the earth, causing them to bleed profusely. The masses of arrows that had been counteracted were spread all over the ground like so much kusha grass. Neither Lakshman nor Indrajit tired. As they fought, Vibhishan attacked the other Rakshasas, not wishing to fight with his nephew. The fighting between the 2 armies became heated as Jambavan went on a rampage. Hanuman had Lakshmana get down from his back so that he too could join the melee, and proceeded to exterminate Rakshasas by the thousands. As the sun sunk below the horizon, the sky became exceedingly dark, covered by the incessant flow of arrows shot by Lakshmana and Indrajit. Their 2 bows worked so quickly that the motion of their arms could not be discerned. Lakshman shot an arrow that beheaded Indrajit's driver, and the Rakshasa had to drive his chariot and simultaneously shoot his arrows. This allowed Lakshmana the opportunity to pierce his adversary more easily, and after some time, Indrajit began to lose his strength. 4 monkey warriors then jumped upon Indrajit's horses, ripping them to pieces with their sharp teeth and claws. The monkeys then proceeded to smash the chariot to pieces. Indrajit was forced to dismount. In the dense darkness, Lakshman began to close in on his foe. Indrajit ordered the Rakshasas to keep the monkeys engaged while he re-entered Lanka for a new chariot. After some time, Indrajit returned to the battlefield with renewed enthusiasm and began slaying monkeys by the thousands, causing the army to run to Lakshmana's shelters. Lakshman then snapped Indrajit's bow and punctured his chest with 5 arrows. At that, Indrajit picked up a stronger bow, but Lakshman counteracted all the arrows he released. Lakshman flared up with energy and proceeded to strike every Rakshasa with 2 arrows, while wounding Indrajit at the same time. Indrajit responded with a flood of arrows, and Lakshman severed the charioteer's head and fired at the horses. Throwing them into confusion, All the while, Indrajit's arrows bounced off Lakshmana's armor. Considering his armor to be impenetrable, Indrajit began to shoot Lakshmana in the forehead. Although wounded, Lakshmana quickly struck Indrajit in the face with 5 arrows. Indrajit then stabbed Vibhishana's face with 3 arrows, causing him to rush at his nephews in a fit of rage, wielding his club. As Vibhishan pounded his horses to death, Indrajit jumped down from the chariot and hurled a spear at his uncle. At that, Lakshmana intervened, chopping the spear to pieces with his arrows. Then when Vibhishan punctured Indrajit's chest with 5 arrows, Indrajit knocked a terrible Yama weapon onto his bowstring. Seeing this danger, Lakshmana took out a wonderful arrow awarded to him by Kuvera in a dream. When both weapons were released, they collided in midair, brightly lighting up the entire night sky and causing a huge explosion as they shattered into hundreds of pieces and crackling sparks and billowing smoke. Lakshmana then released a Varuna weapon and Indrajit neutralized it with a Rudra weapon. Taking the offensive, Indrajit shot an Agni weapon, but Lakshmana successfully counteracted it with a Surya missile. Indrajit then put an Asura weapon on his bowstring that immediately brought forth numerous swords, clubs, chakras and axes. However, by employing a Rudra weapon, Lakshmana neutralized it. Indrajit had gradually begun to lose heart when Lakshmana selected a wonderful weapon belonging to King Indra. As he placed the invincible weapon on his bowstring, drawing it back to his ear, Lakshmana prayed, "O chief of the celestials, if Rama is truly the unrivaled Lord and the shelter of truth and virtue, let this weapon kill Ravana's son." That effulgent arrow soared swiftly through the air and cut off the head of Indrajit, the Rakshasa who had been the greatest impediment to Lord Rama's army of monkeys. As the panic struck and Rakshasas ran in all directions, the monkeys shouted with joy, jumping up and down. In the sky, demigods and rishis cried out ecstatically, praising Lakshmana's victory. Then as the denizens of heaven showered flowers upon the heroes, the monkeys danced with joy, lashing their tails and shouting, "Jai Ram! Jai Lakshman!" Exhausted and severely wounded, Lakshman leaned upon Vibhishan and Hanuman as he came before Ram to circumambulate him. Vibhishan then narrated the entire story of Indrajit's defeat. Listening intently, Ram experienced transcendental pleasure. After congratulating Lakshman and smelling his head with great affection, Ram said, "Indrajit was just like Ravana's right arm. Now that he has been killed after 3 days and nights of battle, the Rakshasa king will surely come out to fight." Lakshman was tormented with pain from the numerous wounds inflicted upon him by Indrajit's arrows. Therefore, Ram ordered Susena to treat him and all the wounded monkeys. Later, when Susena had Lakshmana inhale the vapors of a certain medicinal herb, Lakshmana was delighted to find that all his pains vanished and his wounds suddenly healed. You can read, Prabhu, for some time, yeah. So I just want to add that, among all the warriors in Ramayana and Mahabharata, I was reading somewhere, well, apart from Lord's own expansions or Lord himself like Ram, Lakshman, Krishna and Balaram, Indrajit was the most fierce warrior. He was known as Mahamaharathi. Means he had all kinds of, weapons. He could have counteracted any weapons hurled by his opposition. The only thing is that, like when he was born, Ravan actually made the astrological chart in such a way, or order all the planets to arrange in such a way that that will be most auspicious for his birth. But only one planet, Saturn, did not move. It remained in I think 11th house or 12th house something. It was supposed to be 12th house, it was in 11th house or other way around. So that actually caused him this death, this untimely death. Anyways, it's Lord's plan, everything, But I love the way, Indrajit fought against Rama and Lakshman. He caused actually more panic than anybody else in the whole battlefield. Yeah, whole battle. Yeah. Please continue, Prabhu. Last para from 429.
Sure. Ravana's ministers informed him how Lakshmana had killed Indrajit with the assistance of Vibhishana. Ravana fainted upon hearing the news and only after a long time regained consciousness. Ravana lamented sorely over the death of his beloved heir apparent. Becoming possessed by mad anger, Ravana decided to take revenge by killing Sita. As he announced this, his appearance was so fierce that the other Rakshasas hid themselves out of fear. Ravana called for his impenetrable armor, bow, and arrows, all awarded him by the Lord Brahma. He declared, "I will now enact in reality what Indrajit merely did as a conjuring trick, simply to torment the enemy." Ravana violently unsheathed his sword and rushed to the Asoka grove, followed by Mandodari and several of his ministers. Although these well-wishers tried their best to restrain him, Ravana soon arrived before the terrified Sita. As he waved his sword menacingly, Sita could understand that he intended to kill her. Sita wondered, "What has happened to make the wicked Rakshasa king come here like this before my allotted 12 months have elapsed? Has he become too frustrated by my repeated refusals? Is he simply going to kill me out of desperation, being unable to defeat Rama and Lakshmana? I should have taken Hanuman's advice and let him carry me back to Rama on his back. Then I never would have been put into this ghastly situation." Feeling compassion for the grief-stricken Sita, a pious minister named Suparsva addressed Ravana, "O Lord, you have studied all the Vedas and observed the strictest vows. How can you even think of harming a woman like this? Let the lovely Sita be instead vent your wrath upon your real enemy. Today is the 14th day of the dark lunar fortnight. Tomorrow, as the new moon emerges, march against Rama and his monkey hordes and obtain victory. I am sure that after killing Rama, you will be able to enjoy Sita to your heart's content. Why should you prematurely frustrate your ardent desire in this way?" Ravana accepted this flattering advice. He then gave up the idea of killing Sita and returned to his palace. Sitting morosely upon his throne, Ravana, still mourning the loss of his favorite son, gave the following order: "I want all remaining Rakshasas to go at once and attack Rama together. If they are unable to kill him, then tomorrow I will go personally to fight with him." Just before dawn, the Rakshasas rushed out from the city to fight with the monkeys, and a furious battle ensued. The incited Rakshasas quickly butchered many monkey soldiers, causing those remaining to run to the shelter of Rama's lotus feet. Rama then employed a spectacular Gandharva weapon that shot forth unlimited streams of arrows upon the Rakshasas. The showers of arrows were so dense that the Rakshasas could no longer see Rama. All they could see was the decimation of innumerable Rakshasa soldiers. Because of the Gandharva weapon, Rama sometimes appeared invisible, and the other times the Rakshasas saw 1,000 Ramas standing before them in all directions. Within 90 minutes, Rama massacred 200k foot soldiers, 18k elephant warriors, 14k cavalrymen, and numerous chariot fighters. The survivors then fled back to the safety of Lanka as the demigods in the sky ecstatically praised Rama for his victory. Rama said, "O great monkey heroes, you should know that the ability to employ such celestial weapons is only possible for myself and Lord Shiva." Meanwhile, in Lanka, the widows of the slain Rakshasas grouped together and lamented over the death of their husbands. They wailed out, "We curse Sopanaka, for she is the root cause of the enmity between Rama and Ravana that has destroyed our race. Because Rama has defeated Ravana many times in the past, Ravana should be well aware of his invisible prowess. Why couldn't our foolish king accept the advice of Vibhishana and avoid this carnage?" Hearing the woman's lamentation, Ravana suddenly boiled over with an uncontrollable rage. Hissing like trampled serpent, he ordered his ministers, "Prepare my army for battle at once. Today I shall finally kill Rama, Lakshmana, and all the monkeys within my torrents of arrows. Bring my chariot and make certain that every able-bodied Rakshasa soldier follows me." At Ravana's command, 100k chariots, 300k elephants, 60 million horse soldiers, and unlimited foot soldiers assembled. Ravana then mounted his chariot, drawn by 8 horses and equipped with numerous weapons belonging to the chief demigods. When Ravana came from his palace, he was greeted with a tumultuous fanfare of bowling conch shells, trumpets, and shouts of encouragement from the citizens. When the monkeys heard this uproar, feeling of fear and dread entered their hearts. Then as Ramana exited from the northern gate along with Mandodara, Mahaparshva, and Virupaksha, a gloomy atmosphere prevailed. Dark clouds obscured the sun and rained down blood as Ravana's horses stumbled on the road. Ravana's left eye twitched, his left arm throbbed, his face grew pale, and his voice became hoarse. Then, as meteors streaked across the sky, a vulture perched on Ravana's flagstaff. Ravana ignored these evil arms and continued on to meet his doomed fate. When the fighting began, Ravana created havoc, for none of the monkeys could stand before his onslaught of arrows. As the enraged Sugriva led the monkeys in the fierce counterattack upon the Rakshasa army, Ravana turned his attention towards Rama. Meanwhile, Virupaksha got down from his chariot and mounted an elephant. He rushed toward the monkey while raining down arrows upon them. Sugriva tore up a gigantic tree and violently smashed the elephant, throwing it back towards. Jumping from the wounded elephant, Virupaksha picked up his sword and shield and angrily rushed at Sugriva. Although Sugriva hurled a huge boulder at his onrushing foe, Virupaksha dodged it and slashed the monkey king with his sword. Momentarily dazed, Sugriva fell to the ground, but he quickly sprang up and punched Virupaksha in the chest. This only enraged the Rakshasa more. Virupaksha cut off Sugriva's armor with his sword and gave him a kick, making Sugriva fall backwards. Again, Sugriva sprang to his feet. When he tried to give the Rakshasa a mighty slap, Virupaksha ducked the bow and punched Sugriva in the chest. Flaring with rage, Sugriva looked for an opportunity to strike and suddenly brought the palm of his hand down on Virupaksha's forehead with all his might. Immediately, blood gushed from all 9 holes of the Rakshasa's body, and he fell down dead. Witnessing the death of Virupaksha and the loss of many Rakshasa soldiers, Ravana became even more incensed. He urged Mandodara to vanquish the enemy. Fighting heroically, Mandodara began to consume the monkey soldiers in great numbers, making them run for the shelter of Sugriva. Sugriva rushed at Mandodara and hurled a huge rock, but the Rakshasa broke it to pieces with his arrows. Boiling with rage, Sugriva tore up a tall tree, but the Rakshasa's arrows immediately cut into pieces and pierced to the monkey king. Sugriva took up an iron club lying on ground and rushed towards Mahodara. He struck down Mahodara's horses, forcing the Rakshasas to jump from his disabled chariot. Mahodara then rushed at Sugriva while launching his mace. Likewise, Sugriva threw his club and the 2 weapons collided in mid-air, neutralizing each other. Sugriva and Mahodara both scrambled to pick up more clubs that were lying about and tossed the weapons at each other. Finally, the 2 closed in on each other and began fighting hand to hand. Mahodara picked up a sword and cut deeply into Sugriva's armor. However, the sword remained momentarily stuck and Mahodara struggled to free it. Sugriva took advantage and knocked off the Rakshasa's head. Bereft of their leader, Mahodara's army fled from the battlefield. Meanwhile, Mahaparshva appeared on the scene and began slaughtering the monkey warriors. When Angada saw his soldiers becoming disheartened, he took a heavy club and flung it at Mahaparshva with all his might. The Rakshasa and his driver were struck so violently that they both fell to the ground unconscious. Jambavan then hurled a huge rock that shattered Mahaparshva's chariot and killed his horses. Thus, when the Rakshasa hero regained consciousness, he was forced to continue fighting on the ground. Mahaparshva immediately retaliated by penetrating Jambavan's chest with 3 arrows and showering innumerable arrows upon Angada. Angada responded by throwing an iron club that knocked off Mahaparshva's golden crown and broke his bow and arrow. Then rushing forward, Angada soundly slapped the Rakshasas on the head. This merely engaged the Rakshasas further. However, when they picked up an axe and hurled it at the monkey prince, Angada expertly dodged the weapon. He then charged Mahaparshva and smashed his chest with such force that the Rakshasa's chest burst open, killing him instantly. As Mahaparshva's army scattered in confusion, the monkeys and demigods shouted with joy, and Ravana seethed with rage. The king of the Rakshasas then mounted his chariot and advanced towards Rama, sending a continual stream of arrows. Rama counteracted Ravana's arrows with his own, and thus a fierce battle gradually evolved between the two archenemies. Soon their continuous volleys of arrows covered the sky, creating darkness all around. The other monkey and Rakshasa soldiers ceased fighting to witness the spectacular contest. When Ravana struck Rama in the forehead with an arrow, Rama remained undaunted and retaliated with a Rudra weapon. Even though that missile discharged innumerable arrows, they simply bounced off Ravana's impenetrable armor without harming him in the least. Ravana evoked a mystic Asura weapon, causing countless arrows with the heads of lions, tigers, vultures, serpents, and alligators to rush at Rama, their mouths open to devour him. Although Rama employed an Agni weapon that melted the arrows of Ravana in mid-air, thousands of monkeys were slain by them. Still, Rama and the monkey chiefs were pleased, since the weapon Ravana employed was known to be one of his most powerful. Ravana next evoked a Rudra weapon created by Maya Dhanva, releasing maces, lances, thunderbolts, and nooses in steady streams. Rama quickly foiled the Rudra weapon with his Gandharva weapon. Rama then discharged a brilliant Surya weapon that caused enormous effulgent chakras to shoot out Rama. With a display of inconceivable skill, Rama shattered all the chakras with his arrows, but while he was doing so, Ravana pierced Rama's chest with 10 powerful shafts. Rama, however, did not flinch and retaliated by shooting Ravana's limbs with numerous arrows. Desiring to enter the fray, Lakshmana released 7 arrows that cut down Ravana's flag. With another arrow, Lakshmana severed the head of Ravana's driver, and with 5 more, split the Rakshasa king's bow. Then Vibhishana also rushed forward and killed Ravana's horses with his mace, forcing his enraged brother to jump off the disabled chariot. When Ravana angrily hurled a lance at Vibhishana, Lakshmana cut it to pieces with 3 arrows as it soared through the air. Ravana then picked up a magical spear manufactured by Maya Dhanava, Seeing how Vibhishana's life was in danger, Lakshmana quickly hailed so many arrows upon Ravana that he became stunned while standing with his spear in hand. Ravana shouted at Lakshmana, "Because you have dared rescue Vibhishana, the spear that was meant for him will instead take your life." Ravana roared like a lion and hurled the magical spear as it unerringly soared through the air towards Lakshmana. Rama requested the spear to become ineffectual. Nonetheless, the spear shot through Lakshmana's chest and stuck into the ground, making the son of Sumitra fall down seriously wounded. When Rama saw Lakshmana's pitiful condition, he became extremely despondent, with tears filling his eyes. Then, suppressing his intense grief, Rama extracted the spear from Lakshmana's body, even as Ravana showered arrows upon him. Breaking the spear in half, Rama raised Lakshmana in his arms and tearfully embraced him. Then, after ordering Hanuman and Sugriva to guard Lakshmana, Rama angrily declared, "I shall now exhibit my full prowess against the wicked Ravana. I promise he will soon be slain on the battlefield. The monkeys may now go and sit at ease upon the mountain tops. Let them watch with the demigods as they perform a wonderful feat that will be glorified until the dissolution of the world." Rama attacked Ravana with a vengeance. As they proceeded to cover one another with torrents of arrows, their twanging bows produced an astonishing clamor. The infuriated Rama soon overwhelmed Ravana, causing the Rakshasa to flee the battlefield in fear. Rama then went to Lakshmana and with great anguish told Susena, "Just by looking at my wounded brother, my strength immediately withers. Without Lakshmana, victory will have no meaning for me. If he dies, I shall follow him, just as he followed me when I was exiled to the forest." With a reassuring voice, Susena replied, "O Rama, Lakshmana is not dying. His facial luster has not faded, and his eyes are still sparkling brightly. However, Hanuman must immediately be dispatched to the Mahodaya mountain to collect the herbs called Visalya Karani, Savarna Karani, Samjiva Karani, and Samdani. By this medical treatment, Lakshmana can immediately be restored to perfect health." Hanuman again leaped to the Himalayas. However, arriving at Mahodaya mountain, he could not recognize the necessary herbs. In frustration, he again tore off the mountain peak, and while holding it in the both hands, returned to Lanka. Placing the mountain peak near Susena, Hanuman laid down for a moment to rest, saying, "I could not recognize which herbs to bring, so I decided to carry the entire mountain here." Susena praised Hanuman and then went to look for the proper herbs. Thereafter, he crushed the herbs into powder, and when Lakshmana was given them to smell, his wounds instantly became healed. As Lakshmana stood up, Rama embraced him firmly, saying, "It is my good fortune that you are well. O Lakshmana, without you, there would be no use in recovering Sita or even maintaining my life any longer." Lakshmana replied, "My dear brother, please do not indulge in such grief any longer. Quickly make good your word to kill Ravana and install Vibhishana as king of Lanka." Meanwhile, Ravana mounted another chariot and rushed out from the city, eager to fight with Rama. Rama took up his bow and released downpour of arrows upon Ravana. However, from the sky, the demigods exclaimed, "This battle is not being fairly fought. Rama is standing on the ground while Ravana rides in a chariot." Taking this cue, Indra called to Matali and ordered him to take his chariot to Rama on the battlefield. Matali thus came before Rama, driving Indra's golden chariot, which was drawn by 1,000 greenish horses. The celestial charioteer then announced to Rama, "My dear lord, King Indra requests you to kindly accept this chariot for fighting with Ravana." Inside you will find Indra's bow and armor, along with an incomparable spear and various celestial arrows. O Rama, please mount the chariot at once, for the demigods are most disturbed to see you having to fight standing on the ground. After circumambulating Indra's chariot, Rama mounted it, and thrilling duel ensued. When Ravana released a Gandharva weapon, Rama quickly neutralized it with another Gandharva weapon. Next, Ravana discharged a Rakshasa weapon that took the form of innumerable serpents with blazing, wide-opened mouths. In response, Rama released a Garuda weapon that transformed into countless golden eagles that quickly ate up all of Ravana's snake arrows. This enraged the Rakshasa king, who then rapidly discharged 1,000 arrows at Rama. He also shot numerous arrows that hit Matali and a single arrow that knocked down Indra's flag, and many more that afflicted the horses. Ravana was putting Rama in great difficulty, and the demigods and monkey warriors became quite anxious. Rama then assumed the most frightening angry form, causing the entire earth with its mountain and oceans to quake. Many evil arms manifested, and all the created beings, including Ravana, became afraid. Numerous demons suddenly appeared in the sky to cheer Ravana toward victory. As if in response, Ravana picked up a fearsome dart and roared so ferociously that heaven and earth began to tremble. Then he shouted, "Rama, prepare yourself, for you shall now die." Ravana hurled back the lethal dart. Soaring through the sky, it made a loud roaring noise and was encircled by lightning. Rama released innumerable arrows to counteract Ravana's awesome weapon, just as Indra tries to stop the fire of devastation by pouring down torrential rains. When Rama saw all his arrows being consumed by fearsome dart, he picked up the celebrated spear of Indra and hurled it. Soaring through the air, Indra's spear illuminated all directions, then collided with Ravana's dart, shattering it to pieces that fell harmlessly to the ground. Rama then punctured Ravana's chest, forehead, and horses with arrows. Although Ravana was exhausted and blood flowed from wounds all over his body, he continued to storm arrows upon Rama in great anger. Indeed, Ravana riddled Rama's chest with 1,000 arrows that covered him with blood. The constant hail of arrows was so dense that Rama and Ravana could no longer see each other clearly because of the darkness it produced. Still, Rama remained undaunted. Laughing disdainfully, he rebuked Ravana, saying, "You are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. O kidnapper of Sita, you are the first-class fool for considering yourself a great hero. Actually, you are a great coward, for you dared to take my wife away after deceptively luring me far away. How can you be proud of overpowering a poor defenseless woman in the absence of her husband? You resemble a dog, for as dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder, in my absence you kidnapped my wife Sita. Therefore, as Amaraja punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you. O Ravana, today you will never meet your deserved end." O Ramana, today you will meet your deserved end. The body you are so attached to will become food for jackals and vultures. Thereafter, Rama began to fire his arrows with redoubled energy and greater dexterity. This assault was Combined with volleys of stones hurled by the monkeys, Ravana became so dazed that he could no longer take up and properly discharge his weapons. Seeing his master's death near at hand, Ravana's charioteer drove him swiftly away from the battlefield beyond the reach of Rama's arrows.
Hari Babu. Thank you, Babu. Very nice reading. The charioteer then said, actually we are in the middle of the final battle between Sri Ramchandra and Ravan. Let's see what happens next. The charioteer then said, O king, I took you away from the fighting only for your welfare. You appear to have lost all your strength and your horses were exhausted. Many inauspicious omens were visible, so I did what I considered to be my foremost duty. Ravan became pacified by his driver's words and then ordered, Go quickly to where Ram is. Once Ravan makes up his mind, he doesn't turn back until he has completely vanquished his enemies. In Ravan's absence, Agastya Rishi came before Ram, knowing him to be greatly fatigued from the fighting. After being properly honored and welcomed, Agastya said, My dear Lord Ram, kindly receive from me the Aditya Hridaya prayer meant for satisfying the sun god. This mantra bestows great blessings and cleanses all sins. One who chants this hymn prolongs his life and remains always fixed on the eternal path of religion. The mantra is as follows. O presiding deity of the sun, I offer my obeisances unto you. You are the chief of all the demigods because of your unlimited effulgence which maintains the entire universe. Indeed, both demigods and demons worship you for their ultimate welfare. You are the reservoir of all universal energy and the source of life for all beings. As such, you perfectly represent the Supreme Lord Vishnu as his empowered expansion. Men who are knowers of the Vedas therefore worship you as Lord Narayan, situated within the sun, by chanting suitable prayers 3 times daily. It is you alone who destroy the dense darkness of this universe, and thus I bow down unto you. O splendorous one, again and again I offer my obeisances unto you, O eye of the Supreme Lord, and witness of the world's activities. Agastya Rishi concluded, O Ram, if you recite this mantra while worshipping the sun god, then you will certainly be able to conquer your enemy. Anyone who is in difficulty and worships Surya with this prayer never comes to grief. Agastya then left. Ram already felt rejuvenated, and thereafter he sipped water 3 times while uttering the holy names of the Lord. Then, with his gaze fixed upon the sun, Ram recited the Aditya Hridaya prayer and experienced great transcendental bliss. As Ram again took up his bow, actually bow and bow, these are like same words, but meant for different meaning. As Ram again took up his bow and advanced toward Ravan, Surya spoke to him from the sky, urging, Do not delay, go quickly. Ram then ordered, O Matali, drive quickly to where Ravan is staying, but do so with great caution. Matali is also driver of Lord Balaram. I don't know whether this Matali and same Matali, this Matali and that Matali are same. Remembering that he was speaking to Indra's charioteer, Ram became embarrassed and apologized, saying, I am sorry to have instructed you as if I were your master. I am simply eager to kill Ravan and hope you will excuse my offense. Matali was touched by Ram's display of humility and soon brought Indra's chariot close to Ravan's side. Ram and Ravan then exchanged arrows, and the fighting again became fierce. Evil omens came into view, foreboding the destruction of the Rakshasa king. Clouds rained blood upon Ravan's chariot, and a flock of vultures followed behind him. A huge meteor then fell close by, causing all the Rakshasas to become despondent, convinced that Ravana would soon die. Conversely, pleasing signs appeared before Ram, indicating that victory would soon be his. Thereafter, Ram and Ravan exhibited the entire wealth of their prowess. The competition became so intense that the armies were stunned with amazement. Indeed, the soldiers stood motionless like paintings. They were so absorbed in watching the fight that they did not even think of attacking each other. When Ravan tried to cut Indra's flag, Ram deflected his arrows with his own. Determined to match Ravan blow for blow, Ram knocked down the Rakshasa king's flag. Next, Ravana shot Indra's horses, but when the celestial steeds did not even stagger, Ravan became frustrated. Ravan resorted to using his Rakshasa powers of illusion to shoot forth clubs, discs, trees, and mountain peaks. Ram counteracted all these weapons before they reached his chariot, causing them to fall upon the monkey army. Both Ram and Ravan continued to dispatch thousands of arrows at each other, and as they collided in the sky, the shafts fell down onto the battlefield. In this way, the fighting continued for nearly 1 hour as Ram matched Ravan blow for blow. As all created beings looked on, their minds were filled with wonder. Both chariot drivers also displayed great skill, but then, as the chariots came side by side, Ram forced Ravana's 4 horses to turn away by cutting them with 4 arrows. This increased Ravana's anger, and he repeatedly assailed Ram with his arrows in retaliation. Ram remained undisturbed. Thus, the exchange of weapons became so feverish that the fighting was unparalleled in the history of warfare. Sometimes Ravan displayed his 10-headed feature, and at others he appeared in his normal persona with only 1 head. Suddenly, Ram severed Ravana's head with an arrow. However, as the severed head fell to the ground, a duplicate miraculously appeared in its place. Ram then severed that head, but another replaced it too. Again and again, Ram continued to sever Ravan's heads until hundreds of Ravan's heads had fallen on the battlefield. Each time a new head appeared in place of the old one, Ram wondered, with these arrows I previously killed Maricha, Khara, and Biradha. I pierced 7 mighty trees and slayed the invincible Bali. These arrows have humbled great mountains and agitated the fathomless ocean. How is it that they are now ineffectual against Ravan? The duel thus continued at a fierce pace, both combatants obsessed with killing the other. Indeed, several days and nights passed with a gap in the fighting. Finally, when Matali saw that Ram was not gaining his desired victory, he inquired, "Why are you only fighting in a defensive manner? My lord, are you not aware of your limitless potencies? The hour of doom has now arrived for the king of the Rakshasas. Why do you not employ the divine Brahmastra?" Reminded of his ultimate weapon, Ram took up the arrow that Agastya Rishi had formerly given him at the time of their meeting in the Dandakaranya forest. Lord Brahma had personally created this arrow for Indra's use, and later it was presented to Agastya. The feathers of the wonderful arrow was supplied by Garuda and presided over by Vayu. The razor-sharp head was created with the combined energy of the fire god, Agni, and the sun god, Surya. Mount Meru and Mount Mandara contributed their gravity, becoming the arrow's weight, and its shaft was made from a subtle ethereal element. The wonderful Brahmastra arrow was omnipotent and infallible, and its dazzling effulgence rivaled the sun's. Empowering the arrow with the required mantras, Ram placed the terrible Brahmastra upon his bowstring. While gazing upon the flaming arrow, the monkeys became filled with delight, while dread penetrated the hearts of the Rakshasas. As Ram pulled the bowstring back to his ear, the earth began to shudder, and the heavens appeared to be thrown into confusion. At last, when Ram released the Brahmastra, it sped through the air like a death itself, striking violently the chest of the Rakshasa king. Piercing through Ravana's heart like a thunderbolt, the fierce arrow then entered into the earth, taking Ravana's sinful life along with it. Then, as the wonderful Brahmastra entered Rama's quiver, Ravan dropped his bow from his hand. Vomiting blood from his ten mouth, he fell down dead upon the ground. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas! Alas! What has happened? What has happened?" With great transcendental ecstasy, the monkey warriors loudly proclaimed Rama's victory and pursued the fleeing Rakshasa army. From the sky, the demigods shouted, "Well done! Excellent! Shri Ramachandra Ki Jai!" As they covered Rama's chariot with showers of flowers and beat upon celestial drums. With Ravan dead, the rishis and demigods felt blessed relief and peace of mind that they had not enjoyed for a very long time. A gentle, cool, fragrant breeze then began to blow, and the sun serenely spread its rays, so that happiness appeared to pervade all directions. Sugriv, Angad, Vibhishan, and Lakshman were the first to come and pay homage to Ram. However, when Vibhishan saw his elder brother lying dead on the battlefield, he broke down and cried in an outburst of grief. Meanwhile, news of Ravana's death spread throughout the inner apartments of the royal palace. All of Ravana's wives came out of the city to the battlefield, their hair disheveled and ornaments in disarray. The ladies approached the dead body of their husband, wailing loudly. Overcome with unbearable grief, some of the women rolled in the dust, while others embraced different parts of Ravana's body, crying out, "O Lord, O my husband!" One of the ladies hung around Ravana's neck, while others clutched at his feet, rubbed his wounded chest, and threw their arms up in despair. Others fainted away, unable to bear the grief. Amidst the sounds of loud wailing, they could be heard lamenting, "O dear husband, by ignoring our good advice and that of Vibhishan, you have brought about your own destruction. Now that you are dead, we too are vanquished, for the wife has no other support than the husband. This is the inevitable end. However, for such a cruel and hard-hearted person like you, who else would have dared to kidnap Sita and keep her against her will?" Ravana's favorite queen, Mandadari, then lamented, "O my lord, O master, you epitomize trouble for others, and therefore you were called Ravan. But now that you have been defeated, you also are defeated, for without you the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? My dear husband, although you were so powerful, you couldn't stand before Lord Ram. You were too confident of your acquired prowess. Thus, you became a great burden to the earth. You couldn't understand that Lord Vishnu himself has descended upon the earth as Lord Ram to relieve that burden. O Ravan, your sinful passion for Sita has become the cause of destruction for all Rakshasas. You always masqueraded as a great hero. Yet you were proven to be a coward when you deceitfully kidnapped Sita. You came under the influence of lust desires, and therefore you couldn't understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramchandra, O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty. Because of you, the state of Lanka and also we ourselves now have no protector. By your death, you have made your body fit to be eaten by vultures and your soul fit to go to hell. But even though your character was abominable, I do not see how you will go on living in your absence." Finally, Mandadari fainted with her head against Ravana's chest. Then her co-wives lifted her up and revived her to consciousness. Ram then ordered Vibhishan, "Begin the funeral rites for your brother without further delay. It will only be possible to comfort Ravana's widows after his body has been cremated." Vibhishan replied, "I do not wish to perform the funeral ceremonies for a man who kidnapped the wives of others, who was merciless and tyrannical, and who was inclined toward religion. Since he was my elder brother, it is my duty to respect Ravan, but at the same time his actions were those of an enemy, and thus he doesn't deserve my worship. Ram then said, I approve of your words because they uphold the cause of virtue. Still, I want you to cremate the body of your brother. Regardless of his faults, all hostilities have now ended. Vibhishan then went to Lanka to make preparations for Ravana's funeral. After bringing his maternal grandfather Malyavan, Vibhishan placed the body of Ravan upon the funeral carrier and proceeded with numerous other Rakshasas carrying the firewood. Going toward the south, the party arrived at a consecrated place where they cremated Ravana's body according to Vedic injunctions. Thereafter, Ravana's wives were consoled and everyone returned to Lanka. So this is like end of a very like important phase of Ramayana, right? That Ravana has was defeated and he died, and Lord Ramchandra gained victory over the Rakshasa kingdom. Having given up his transcendental anger, Rama assumed a gentle countenance and laid aside his bow, arrows, and armor. With the fighting concluded, the demigods left from the sky overhead and went back to their abodes. While going, they chanted the glories of Lord Ram with great satisfaction. Then, after receiving due honor from Ram and permission to depart, Matali ascended into the sky upon Indra's chariot and returned to the heavenly kingdom. Returning to his military camp, Ram ordered Lakshman to perform the installation ceremony for Vibhishan. In turn, Lakshman gave golden vessels to the chief monkeys and ordered them to quickly fetch water from the four seas. Lakshman performed the installation ceremony strictly according to Vedic injunctions. All of Lanka's citizens came to the sacrificial arena with presentations of auspicious articles. After receiving these gifts, Vibhishan offered them to Ram. Ram then told Hanuman, please go and find out how Sita is. Inform her that I have killed Ravan and return her with any message she may have for me. Hanuman then went to the Ashoka grove and found the grief-stricken Sita still surrounded by hideous Rakshasas. Standing meekly before her, Hanuman said, your husband has sent me here to give you the following message. After many sleepless months, I have fulfilled my vow to rescue you. Now that your oppressor, the king of the Rakshasas, is dead, you may give up your anxiety. Hearing the news of Ravana's death and Rama's well-being, Sita became so overwhelmed with joy that she could not speak for some time. When Hanuman asked her why she did not make any reply, Sita said, I can hardly speak because I am so elated. Oh Hanuman, what you have told me is unlimitedly more valuable than any amount of gold or jewels. With folded hands, Hanuman suggested, if you so desire, I can kill all of these hideous Rakshasas who have tortured you for so long. Indeed, I would take great pleasure in avenging all the suffering you have had to undergo. I simply wait for your permission. The compassionate Sita replied, they are only foolish maidservants who were compelled to carry out the orders of their king. Whatsoever I have suffered was due to my own vast misdeeds. These Rakshasa women only acted as instruments in the hands of destiny. O Hanuman, perhaps you have heard this. A great man never takes into account the offenses that are committed against him by another person. Indeed, he vows at all costs not to return evil with evil. Once, you want to read?
Page number 451, second paragraph. Once there was a hunter who was being chased by a tiger. While trying to escape, he climbed up into a big tree. However, high up in the branches of the tree, a bear was perched, relaxing. Upon seeing the bear, the tiger called to him, saying, this hunter is our common enemy. You should push him out of the tree so that I can eat him. The bear, however, replied, "Because this hunter has taken shelter of my home, I will not do anything to harm him. To do so would be unrighteous." Saying this, the bear went to sleep. The tiger then said to the hunter, "If you push the bear out of the tree so that I can eat him, I will promise not to harm you." Swayed by the tiger's words, the hunter pushed the sleeping bear. However, as he was falling, the bear grabbed another branch and saved himself. The tiger said to the bear, "Since this hunter tried to kill you, you should retaliate by pushing him out of the tree." But even though the tiger appealed to the bear like this repeatedly, the bear refused, saying, "A great person never takes into account the sins of a person who has offended him. Instead, at all costs, he keeps his vow never to return evil for evil, knowing that good conduct is ornament of virtuous persons." Being thus admonished, Hanuman asked Sita if she had a message to give Rama. She replied, "My only words are these. I long to see my dear husband, who is known to be always very affectionate to his unalloyed devotees." Hanuman said, "Be assured that you will see Rama and Lakshmana this very day. Please allow me to leave so that I may deliver your message without delay." Hanuman returned to Rama and related Sita's message. He urged Rama to meet with Sita, saying, "Because Sita has suffered so much, always longing to see you, please go to the Asoka grove at once." When Rama heard this appeal, tears came to his eyes. Then his eyes cast down, he ordered Vibhishana, "Let Sita be brought before me after bathing, dressing, and adorning herself with celestial ornaments." Vibhishana then went to the Asoka grave and through the Rakshasi made his presence known to Sita. Humbly approaching her, Vibhishana said, "Rama desires to see you. Please mount this palanquin I have brought." Rama asks that you suitably prepare yourself by bathing, dressing, and adorning yourself with celestial ornaments. Sita then went to bathe, and after dressing herself nicely, she was placed upon a palanquin and brought before Rama. When Vibhishana first approached Rama, he saw that the Lord's head was bent low, as if he were absorbed in thought. Vibhishana then announced Sita's arrival. Rama requested she be brought before him at once. Out of natural curiosity, hordes of monkeys had come to catch a glimpse of Sita. However, Vibhishana and his assistants began pushing them back, and there arose a great commotion. Because of strong affection for his servitors, Rama became annoyed by seeing this and told Vibhishana, "Do not harass these monkeys. There is nothing wrong if a chaste woman is seen in public during a time of adversity or war, at a swayamvara, at sacrifices, or a wedding. Therefore, please allow the monkeys to see Sita if they so desire." Rama then ordered, "Let Sita come down from the palanquin and come before me on foot." As Vibhishana escorted Sita, the monkey chiefs could understand that Rama was in angry mood. They were surprised not only that Rama was upset, but he was making Sita walk in public view, his manner stern and grave. Sita approached Rama with great shyness, seeming to shrink into herself. Then, when Sita saw the moon-like handsome face of her beloved husband, her miseries immediately disappeared, causing her natural shining effulgence to return. Sita was exceedingly happy to see her beloved, and her lotus-like mouth showed her joy. But Rama was in a different mood. Rama's heart was tormented by fear of public scandal. Therefore, he addressed Sita in an angry tone, "I have fulfilled my vow to win you back and thus avenge Ravana's insult to my honor. However, you should understand that my great endeavor to kill Rakshasa king wasn't really for your sake, but to vindicate my good name and the reputation of the Ishwaku dynasty. In truth, your appearance before me is not at all pleasing. Thus, I now grant you leave of anguish. Sorry, page number 454. Leave to go wherever you desire. No cultured man will accept a wife who has been embraced by another, or who has dwelt in the house of someone else for so long. I am sure that no woman could have remained with Ravana for such a long time without being enjoyed by him. Ravana was obsessed by lust for you. How could he have controlled himself and refrained from ravishing you by force? By killing Ravana, I have regained my honor. However, there is no need to have any more attachment for you. You are now free to do as you like. Fix your mind upon Lakshmana, Bharata, or anyone else you choose. As Sita heard Rama's speech, her hair stood on end and her head bent low in shame. Since before she had only heard loving words from her husband, Rama's words entered his heart like a sharp arrows. She began to weep bitterly. Since she was in presence of innumerable witnesses, it was difficult for her to endure her husband's reproaches. Then, wiping tears from her eyes, Sita replied in a flattering voice, "How can you dare speak about me in such an irresponsible manner? Never for a moment have I given up my chastity, either by body, mind, or words. My character is pure. You should not judge me as though I were an ordinary woman. Although I am called Janaki, the daughter of King Janaka, my birth was transcendental, for I appeared from the earth itself. O Rama, it was your plan all along to cruelly reject me in this way. Why didn't you inform me when Hanuman came as your messenger? If I knew that you did not intend to take me back, I would have immediately given up my life, thus avoiding many months of unbearable pain. Likewise, you could have avoided this ghastly war that has taken the lives of countless Rakshasas and monkeys. What was the need of demanding so much service from your allies? O Rama, why are you acting like this? Does my pure devotion to you mean nothing?" Sita then addressed Lakshmana, saying, "Please build a large fire for me to enter. This is the only path that remains for one who has been rejected by her husband in public." Suppressing his hesitation, Lakshmana looked at Rama and saw his elder brother approved of Sita's words. Thus Lakshmana went to prepare the fire. Rama appeared to stern and intense that no one dared to even speak to him. What to speak of pacifying him? When the fire was built and blazed up brightly, Sita circumambulated Rama. Then coming before the fire with folded hands, Sita bowed to the Brahmanas and demigods. Next, Sita aloud offered a prayer to Agni, "O God of fire, because my heart has never turned away from Rama, please grant me protection. Although I have never seen unfaithful to Rama in thought, word, or deed, he accuses me of being polluted. Therefore, O God of fire, seer of all within the three worlds, I request you to become the witness of my purity." Saying this, Sita circumambulated the fire. Then, as the huge crowd looked on in wonder, Sita entered into the flames with a fearless mind. Within the blazing fire, Sita, who was adorned with dazzling gold ornaments, shone with wonderful golden effulgence. As soon as Sita entered the fire, all the women present screamed with horror, and a cry of anguish arose from the assembled monkeys and Rakshasas. In the midst of great wailing, Rama appeared to become thoughtful. Meanwhile, the chief demigods appeared before him, riding upon their celestial vehicles. As Rama stood before them with folded hands, the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, said, "O Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, We are very pained to see how you are neglecting your eternal concert. Mother Sita, you are the creator of the universe and lord of all demigods. Why do you ignore your divinity and reject Sita as though you were a common man? Rama then replied, I consider myself to be an ordinary human being, the son of Maharaj Dasharatha. However, if there is something more to be said, then perhaps you, Lord Brahma, can disclose it to me. Lord Brahma said, My dear Lord Rama, you are directly Lord Narayana himself, and thus you are identical with all forms of Narayana. You are a plenary expansion of Lord Sri Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the cause of all causes. You are the universal form and the support of the cosmic manifestation. All the demigods are your parts and parcels and your eternal servants. Moreover, Sita is none other than Lakshmi herself, the supreme goddess of fortune. Both of you have appeared on the earth to destroy Ravana. Now that this mission has been accomplished, O Lord, you may return to your transcendental abode in the spiritual sky after ruling over the earth for as long as you desire. As soon as Lord Brahma finished speaking, the fire god Agni emerged from the flames with Sita. As Agni presented Sita before Rama, everyone could see how her body, bright red dress, ornaments, and hair showed no sign of being even slightly burned. In his capacity as a universal witness, Agni announced, O Rama, here is your dear wife Sita. She is devoid of even the smallest tinge of sin. Sita was never the slightest bit unfaithful to you by mind, word, or glance, what to speak of any action. Therefore, my dear Rama, you must accept Sita without reservation, giving up your harsh words and demeanor. Rama was pleased to hear Agni's testimony, and as tears of joy fell from his eyes, he replied, O Agni, it was necessary for Sita to undergo this trial by fire, just to convince the masses of her spotless purity. If I had prevented her from entering the fire, people would have criticized me for accepting her without first proving her chastity. They would have concluded that I was simply motivated by lust. In truth, I already knew of Sita's chastity and that Ravana could never pollute her. She is always fully protected by the power of her righteousness. It was only to prove Sita's chastity to the world that I appeared to neglect her. Indeed, Sita is non-different from me, for she is directly my eternal potency. Just as sunlight, being non-different from the sun, is inseparable from the sun, so too there is no possibility of my being separated from Sita. There is a Prabhupada commentary. Srila Prabhupada explains and comments, it was actually impossible for Ravana to take away Sita. The form of Sita taken by Ravana was illusory representation of Mother Sita, Maya Sita. When Sita was tested in the fire, this Maya Sita was burnt and the real Sita came out of the fire. A further understanding to be derived from this example is that a woman, however powerful she may be in the material world, must be given protection. For as soon as she is unprotected, she will be exploited by Rakshasas like Ravana. Before Mother Sita was married to Lord Ramachandra, she was protected by her father, and when she was married, she was protected by her husband. Therefore, the conclusion is that a woman should always be protected. According to the Vedic rule, there is no scope for women's being independent, for a woman cannot protect herself independently.
Hare Krishna. So actually, I think this purport is taken from Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita Maitha. Yeah, in the beginning chapters where Lord Chaitanya was traveling in South India, and one Brahmin, he was lamenting why Mata Sita was abducted by Ravana. He is a demon, and how he could even touch a personality like Mother Sita, who is directly the manifestation of the goddess of fortune. So when Lord Chaitanya was traveling further down to the south, he came across a book called Kurma Puran, and that Puran, it says, like, the personality which was abducted by Ravan, that was actually the shadow of Mother Sita. And in some places it is said, like, she was the manifestation of Vedavati, who is not, mother goddess directly. So at that time it was like Vedavati, and when Mother Sita went through that, fire experiment or fire test, then original Mother Sita was brought back by Agni, demigod Agni. So I can actually conclude the reading, Prabhu. 10 minutes we have. 10, 11 minutes. Then next session will continue. Thank you. Rama felt great transcendental bliss in being reunited with Sita. His pastimes are all manifestations of his internal potency, enacted for the purpose of relishing in spiritual exchanges. You can take a book if you want, Prabhu. That's fine. Okay. Lord Shiva then embraced Ram, saying, "My dear Lord, by slaying the incomparably powerful Ravan, you have performed a wonderful feat that will be glorified throughout the three worlds until the time of dissolution." Pointing to the sky, Lord Shiva said, "O Ram, see how your father is waiting there, seated upon his celestial chariot. Having been delivered by your mercy, he now resides on Indra's planet. Go quickly with Lakshman and be reunited with Maharaj Dashrath, for he has come here just to see you." Ram and Lakshman went and bowed down before their father. Feeling extremely delighted, Maharaj Dashrath took Ram upon his lap and said, "My residence in heaven doesn't give me any real pleasure. O Ram, only now that I am able to see you do I feel happy. All along, Kaikeyi's words demanding your exile remain imprinted upon my heart. Only now that your period of banishment has come to an end do I feel somewhat relieved. However, I still yearn to see you return to Ayodhya and be installed as emperor of the world after being reunited with Bharat. I can now understand that you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu himself, and that you have descended upon that earth just to vanquish Ravan." Ram replied, "My dear father, I too feel greatly relieved that my exile has come to an end and my mission is accomplished. However, I have one request to make of you. Please withdraw your harsh words spoken at the time of my banishment, disowning Kaikeyi and Bharat." Maharaj Dashrath readily consented and saying, "Let it be so." He then fondly embraced Lakshman and declared, "My dear son, because of the dedicated service you have rendered to Ram, I am eternally indebted to you. Please know that your elder brother is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in human form for the welfare of the world. He is worshipable even by the greatest of demigods, what to speak of ourselves." Maharaj Dashrath then told Sita, "Please bear no grudge toward Ram for having tested your purity. Know that your remarkable behavior will earn you a place in history as the most glorious woman the world has ever seen." Having thus spoken, Maharaj Dashrath mounted his celestial chariot and ascended towards heaven. As Ram stood with folded hands, Indra said, "My audience can never go in vain. Thus I wish for you to take a benediction from me." Ram was pleased to hear Indra's statement and thus requested, "O King of the Celestials, please bring back to life all the monkey warriors who died in my service. Additionally, let all the trees in the places where these heroes dwell become full of fruits, even when out of season." Indra replied, "Although this boon is very difficult even for me to grant, I shall happily do so." Just then, all the monkeys who had died in the battle began to rise up from the ground. their wounds completely healed. It seemed to them as if they were awakening from a long sleep. However, when they saw Ram and all the demigods before them, the monkeys could understand they had got back their lost lives and thus felt supremely delighted. Indra then departed, followed by the demigods, while Ram and the monkeys spent the night in that place. The next morning, Vibhishan came before Ram with numerous maidservants carrying paraphernalia for his bath. However, Ram ordered, "My dear Vibhishan, summon all the monkeys headed by Sugriv. Let them enjoy this royal luxury. As long as I am separated from Bharat, who is practicing severe austerities on my behalf, such opulence doesn't appeal to me. My only request is that you arrange for my speedy passage back to Ayodhya. Indeed, to travel there by foot would be an arduous journey." Vibhishan replied, If you will ride in the Pushpaka chariot, you can reach Ayodhya this very day. However, I humbly request that yourself, Sita and Lakshman remain here for some time with the army of monkeys, so I may royally entertain everyone before your departure. Ram said, "I certainly cannot refuse your hospitality. However, I am growing increasingly anxious to meet Bharat, Kausalya and my stepmothers. Therefore, I beg you to permit me to depart without delay." Vibhishan went quickly and brought Ram the Pushpaka chariot. This wonderful chariot originally belonged to Kuvera before Ravana stole it from him. The chariot was constructed from gold by Vishwakarma with seats of gems. The wonderful spaceship could travel anywhere, following the mental indication of its driver. Thus, when Ram and Lakshman saw the chariot hovering before them, awaiting their command, they were quite astonished. Before departing, Ram requested Vibhishan to present gifts of gold and jewels to all the monkey soldiers. Then Ram mounted the Pushpaka chariot with Sita and Lakshman. Addressing the assembly, Ram said, "My dear monkey warriors, there is no way I can repay you for your heroic fighting on my behalf. Your unflinching devotional service will always serve as an inspiration for future devotees. Thus, your glories will forever shine brightly. Now please return to Kishkindhya and live there happily under Sugriva's leadership. Vibhishan, you should accept responsibility for ruling over Lanka immediately, since the citizens are now bereft of their king." Yeah, this debt was paid by Lord Krishna in his incarnation. In his pastimes in Vrindavan. Then standing before Ram with folded hands, Sugriv and Vibhishan pleaded, "O Lord, please allow us to accompany you to Ayodhya. After seeing the coronation ceremonies, we shall return home." Ram replied, "Nothing would please me more than to return to Ayodhya with all of my dear friends. Therefore, you and all the other monkey heroes can board the Pushpaka chariot and we will embark immediately." Finally, after all were comfortably seated, the Pushpaka chariot rose majestically into the air, while all the monkeys and bears were enjoying the flight. Rama pointed out the sights to Sita. "Look, there are the battlefield where all the heroic Rakshasas lay dead, all killed for your sake. Look, there is where Ravan fell. There is the spot where Kumbhakarna was slain. There is where Indrajit was defeated, and that is where Prahasta died. Over there is the bridge called Nalasetu, by which we cross the ocean to Lanka. There on the far shore is the place called Setubandha, Rameshwaram, where the bridge construction began. From this time onward, Setubandha will be a most sacred place, capable of washing away all of one's accumulated sinful reactions." Then as Ram pointed to Kishkindhya, Sita said, "I would be pleased if I could return to Ayodhya in the company of the wives of the monkey chiefs." Happy to grant Sita's request, the chariot halted as Ram instructed Sugriva and the other warriors to quickly bring their wives. When everyone was seated, their journey continued. Ram pointed out to Sita, "There is Mount Rishimukha, where I met Sugriv, and nearby you can see heavenly lake Pampa, which abounds with bluish lotus flowers. There you can see the river Godavari, and on its bank is the ashrama of Agastya Rishi. O Sita, there is a spot where Ravana kidnapped you. There is Chitrakoot, where Bharat came to meet me. Over there is the river Yamuna, and there is the mighty Ganga, where King Guha's capital lies on the river banks." In this way, Ram, Sita and Lakshmana's entire forest life was displayed in reverse order as they retraced their way back to Ayodhya. Finally, the river Saryu came into view, and at last the outskirts of Ayodhya. So we will conclude here. No, it's okay. You can come. You should. So now, our dear His Grace Sibash Pandit Prabhuji will lead the reading. So we have read till page number 464 till the first paragraph. So you have to start from the second paragraph, Prabhuji.